Today we're going to make a log cabin design quilting square. And to make it easy, I'm going to start with a jelly roll. Now a jelly roll is a group of fabric. They're fabric strips that are 2.5 inches wide. That's perfect for what we're going to do. We need 2.5 inch wide strips. We're going to cut them in various lengths. I chose 12 of these strips out of the jelly roll for this log cabin design, and I think you're going to love it. Okay, so this is our fabric cut out for the log cabin design. We're using the jelly roll. All these strips are 2.5 inches wide, which is really great. So I've cut them into different lengths. I chose 12 different strips, so you see 12 different fabrics. The longest one is 12.5 inches long. There are 2 of those. There are 2 at 10.5 inches, 2 at 8.5 inches, 2 at 6.5, 4.5, and then we have our original 2 squares that are 2.5 inch square. We start with our 2 original squares and we start to build. Next is our 4.5 inch squares that goes across the top and down the side. Then we do our 6.5 inch squares across the bottom. I'm just following the outer edge of this circle. I'm going around the square. Now, keep in mind, when you sew these together, you have a 1/4 inch seam allowance everywhere, so these will be tightened up. I'm just laying them out loosely here first, just so you can see how the layout goes. Then we have our 10.5 inch, and then finally 12.5. Now look, this is the time to take a look at this design and say, hey, is this what I want or is this not it? I'm seeing 2 dark strips right here together and 2 light strips here together, so I'm gonna swap these 2 just visually, because I think it'll be a little more interesting. These 2 look a little light to me. These 2 look a little dark. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. There's no wrong answer here. You can do whatever you want. So I'm happy with this design. So let's take it to the sewing machine. And the finished product is this lovely square. This measures 11 by 13. And you'll notice I have a little extra on the end. As you sew each one of these strips, you have a little extra tail on the end. I start by matching the tops together, leave the tail all by itself. After you do each one, press the seams to the outer edges. So even the back looks kind of cool on this. But the variety of fabrics you get in the jelly roll, they're so different. They're just so different, but they work together in a very strange but unique way. Now, if I can only make 16 more of these, we'll have ourselves a quilt.